Vipera, the common European adder or common European viper, is a venomous snake that is extremely widespread and can be found throughout most of Western Europe and as far as East Asia. Known by a host of common names including common adder and common viper, adders have been the subject of much folklore in Britain and other European countries. They are not regarded as especially dangerous. The snake is not aggressive and usually bites only when alarmed or disturbed. Bites can be very painful, but are seldom fatal. The specific name, berus, is New Latin and was at one time used to refer to a snake, possibly the grass snake, Natrix. The common adder is found in different terrains, habitat complexity being essential for different aspects of its behavior. It feeds on small mammals, birds, lizards, and amphibians, and in some cases on spiders, worms, and insects. The common adder, like most other vipers, is ovoviviparous. Females breed once every 2 or 3 years, with litters usually being born in late summer to early autumn in the northern hemisphere. Litters range in size from 3 to 20 with young staying with their mothers for a few days. Adults grow to a total length, including tail, of 60 to 90 centimeters, 24 to 35 in, and a mass of 50 to 180 grams, 1.8 to 6.3 ounces. 3 subspecies are recognized, including the nominate subspecies, Vipera described here. The snake is not considered to be threatened, though it is protected in some countries. The name adder is derived from nedra, an Old English word that had the generic meaning of serpent in the older forms of many Germanic languages. It was commonly used in the Old English version of the Christian scriptures for the devil and the serpent in the Book of Genesis. In the 14th century, an adder in Middle English was rebracketed to an adder, just as an apron became an apron and an umpire changed into an umpire. In keeping with its wide distribution and familiarity through the ages, Vipera has a large number of common names in English, which include common European adder, common European viper, northern viper, adder, common adder, crossed viper, European adder, common viper, European common viper, cross adder, or common cross adder. In Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, the snake is known as holm or hugholm, roughly translated as striking snake. In Finland, it is known as kaiarm or simply kai. In Estonia it is known as rastik, while in Lithuania it is known as angus. Relatively thick-bodied, adults usually grow to 60 centimeters, 24 in total length, including tail, with an average of 55 centimeters, 22 in. Maximum size varies by region. The largest, at over 90 centimeters, 35 in, are found in Scandinavia. Specimens of 104 centimeters, 41 in, have been observed there on 2 occasions. In France and Great Britain, the maximum size is 80 to 87 centimeters, 31 to 34 in. Mass ranges from 50 grams, 1.8 ounces, to about 180 grams, 6.3 ounces. The head is fairly large and distinct and its sides are almost flat and vertical. The edge of the snout is usually raised into a low ridge. Seen from above, the rostral scale is not visible, or only just. Immediately behind the rostral, there are 2, rarely 1, small scales. Dorsally, there are usually 5 large plates, a squarish frontal, longer than wide, sometimes rectangular, 2 parietals, sometimes with a tiny scale between the frontal and the parietals, and 2 long and narrow supraoculars. The latter are large and distinct, each separated from the frontal by 1 to 4 small scales. The nostril is situated in a shallow depression within a large nasal scale. The eye is relatively large, equal in size or slightly larger than the nasal scale, but often smaller in females. Below the supraoculars are 6 to 13, usually 8 to 10, small circumorbital scales. The temporal scales are smooth, rarely weakly keeled. There are 10 to 12 sublabials and 6 to 10, usually 8 or 9, supralabials. Of the latter, the numbers 3 and 4 are the largest, while 4 and 5, rarely 3 and 4, are separated from the eye by a single row of small scales, sometimes 2 rows in alpine specimens. Midbody there are 21 dorsal scales rows, rarely 19, 20, 22, or 23. These are strongly keeled scales, except for those bordering the ventral scales. These scales seem loosely attached to the skin and lower rows become increasingly wide. Those closest to the ventral scales are twice as wide as the ones along the midline. The ventral scales number 132 to 150 in males and 132 to 158 in females. The anal plate is single. The subcaudals are paired, numbering 32 to 46 in males and 23 to 38 in females. The color pattern varies, ranging from very light-colored specimens with small, incomplete, dark dorsal crossbars to entirely brown ones with faint or clear, darker brown markings, and onto melanistic individuals that are entirely dark and lack any apparent dorsal pattern. However, most have some kind of zigzag dorsal pattern down the entire length of their bodies and tails. The head usually has a distinctive dark V or X on the back. A dark streak runs from the eye to the neck and continues as a longitudinal series of spots along the flanks. Unusual for snakes, the sexes are possible to tell apart by the color. Females are usually brownish in hue with dark brown markings. The males are pure gray with black markings. The basal color of males will often be slightly lighter than that of the females, making the black zigzag pattern stand out. The melanistic individuals are often females. Vipera has a wide range. It can be found across the Eurasian landmass, from northwestern Europe, Great Britain, Netherlands, Scandinavia, Germany, France, across southern Europe, Italy, Serbia, Albania, Croatia, Montenegro, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Republic of Macedonia, Bulgaria, and northern Greece, and Eastern Europe to north of the Arctic Circle, and Russia to the Pacific Ocean, Sakhalin Island, North Korea, northern Mongolia and northern China. It is found further north than any other snake species. The type locality was originally listed as Europa. Mertens and Muller, 1940, proposed restricting the type locality to Uppsala, Sweden, Uppsala, Sweden, and it was eventually restricted to Berthaga, Uppsala by designation of a neotype by Kraksk and Wahlgren, 2008. In several European countries, it is notable as being the only native venomous snake. It is one of only 4 snake species native to Britain. The other 3, the grass snake, barred grass snake, and the smooth snake, are non-venomous. In the United Kingdom, it is illegal to kill, injure, harm, or sell adders under the Wildlife and Countryside Act 1981, as the same applies to Norway under the Viltloven, the Wildlife Act 1981. The common viper is categorized as endangered in Switzerland, and is also protected in some other countries in its range. It is also found in many protected areas. This species is listed as protected, Appendix 3, under the Berne Convention. The International Union for the Conservation of Nature Red List of Threatened Species describes the conservation status as of least concern in view of its wide distribution, presumed large population, broad range of habitats, and likely slow rate of decline, though it acknowledges the population to be decreasing. Reduction in habitat for a variety of reasons. Fragmentation of populations in Europe due to intense agriculture practices, and collection for the pet trade or for venom extraction have been recorded as major contributing factors for its decline. Because of the rapid rate of human expansion throughout the range of this species, bites are relatively common. Domestic animals and livestock are frequent victims. In Great Britain, most instances occur in March to October. In Sweden, there are about 1,300 bites a year, with an estimated 12% that require hospitalization. At least 8 different antivenoms are available against bites from this species. Mallow et al. 2003, describe the venom toxicity as being relatively low compared to other viper species. They cite Minton, 1974, who reported the LD50 values for mice to be 0.55 mg/kg4, 0.80 mg/kg-IP and 6.45 mg/kg-SC. As a comparison, in one test the minimum lethal dose for a guinea pig was 40 to 67 mg, but only 1.7 mg was necessary when Deboia russellii venom was used. Brown, 1973, gives a higher subcutaneous LD50 range of 1.0 to 4.0 mg/kg. All agree that the venom yield is low. Minton, 1974, mentions 10 to 18 mg for specimens 48 to 62 cm, 19 to 24.5 in length, while Brown, 1973, lists only 6 mg. Relatively speaking, bites from this species are not highly dangerous. In Britain there have been only 14 known fatalities since 1876, the last a 5-year-old child in 1975, and one near-fatal bite of a 39-year-old woman in Essex in 1998. An 82-year-old woman died following a bite in Germany in 2004, although it is not clear whether her death was due to the effect of the venom. Even so, professional medical help should always be sought as soon as possible after any bite. Very occasionally bites can be life-threatening, particularly in small children, while adults may experience discomfort and disability long after the bite. The length of recovery varies, but may take up to a year. Local symptoms include immediate and intense pain, followed after a few minutes, but perhaps by as much as 30 minutes, by swelling and a tingling sensation. Blisters containing blood are not common. The pain may spread within a few hours, along with tenderness and inflammation. Reddish lymphangitic lines and bruising may appear, and the whole limb can become swollen and bruised within 24 hours. Swelling may also spread to the trunk, and with children, throughout the entire body. Necrosis and intracompartmental syndromes are very rare. Systemic symptoms resulting from anaphylaxis can be dramatic. These may appear within 5 minutes post-bite, or can be delayed for many hours. Such symptoms include nausea, retching and vomiting, abdominal colic and diarrhea, incontinence of urine and feces, sweating, fever, vasoconstriction, tachycardia, lightheadedness, loss of consciousness, blindness, shock, angioedema of the face, lips, gums, tongue, throat and epiglottis, urticaria and bronchospasm. If left untreated, these symptoms may persist or fluctuate for up to 48 hours. In severe cases, cardiovascular failure may occur. Vipera bosniensis is a venomous viper subspecies endemic to the Balkan Peninsula. McDiarmid et al. 1999, follow Gole et al. 1993, and recognize V. b. bosniensis as a subspecies of V. berus. However, it has been considered a full species in recent literature. Vipera sacchallinensis, Sacchaline Island adder aka Sacchaline adder, is a venomous viper subspecies endemic